And in fact, when we look at Indigenous communities, so for so long, right, people have said that there's a gene for alcoholism, and it was a way that you could create an othering, which was a big thing that was used against Indigenous populations over time. So really in the research, what we've realized is Indigenous populations, it's not that they carry a gene for alcoholism. What they don't carry is a gene to make alcohol dehydrogenase. Alcohol dehydrogenase is the first enzyme in the body that will start to break alcohol down. And so because there's no real significant record of Indigenous populations using alcohol before colonization, right, there was no need for that. So white men carry the highest levels of alcohol dehydrogenation or dehydrogenase, because anytime you go to a new country, you become in tune to new viruses and bacteria and new things that your body has never fought off. So in colonization, water isn't safe. They drink a lot more alcohol. And so what we know is what that means is because there's not a high level of the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase, alcohol sits in an Indigenous body in pure form for longer. So if you look at a binging pattern of use, right, then it's sitting in a pure form for longer, which is going to prime the system to becoming accustomed to it, and then leads to potential risk. But Catherine, in all honesty, the thing that's usually never discussed with Indigenous populations is the mass genocide in our country and the continued genocide that's occurring, and the intergenerational traumas. And what we know about trauma is trauma actually does change your genes. They started studying this with the Holocaust, and they could show 2 generations after Holocaust survivors that there was genetic alterations and changes. So people are carrying traumas genetically that they may not have personally experienced, but they're within their lineages. So it's a super complex thing, but there's significant amounts of research on that and changing that narrative, that it's not that it's something that you are, it's a complexity of what we do. And when we look at the pain that Indigenous populations have suffered, right, then we start to understand, even when we look at the mass poverty still within our reservations and the issues that are resulting still, that trauma hasn't ended. It is still an occurring space for many Indigenous populations.